Button.
Hi,
Double tap to activate.
my name's May. I love yarn. I love to knit and crochet. And I also happen to have been born visually impaired, legally blind, completely colorblind. And I knit and crochet by feel. And I believe knitting and crochet are for everybody, including people who are visually impaired. If you're visually impaired and you're looking for a hobby, I want to encourage you to try knitting or crochet. And if you've been knitting and crocheting for years and you're starting to experience changes in your eyesight, you don't need to give it up. You can just learn how to do it by feel. So for sock week this week, I have been working on this sock. You've seen it here. It's in the Knit Picks Week Crochet Hawthorne Fingering and the color Klamath Falls. If you're visually impaired, it's a variety of shades of sort of dark blues, indigo blues, delft blues. It's very beautiful. It's a tonal yarn. Okay, well, a lot of people, including myself, when you're knitting a sock, we like to put some kind of ribbing on the cuff just to give it, like on the sock, to give it a little bit of stretch, right? Now, of course, you can knit your socks in stockinette if you want, but I like ribbing. Now, for a while, I was doing a lot of my socks in a knit to purl to ribbing, and you can absolutely do that, but that definitely makes it, gives it more stretch. I don't like quite that much stretch in my socks. And honestly, I don't like to do quite that much purling in my socks. So I started doing a knit 3 purl 1 rib, and that seemed to give me just about the right of stretch that I like. So that means that we're working with a multiple of 4. So this particular sock happens to have 56 stitches around, 28 stitches on each of the 2 needles that I work on. I work on 2 circulars. If you needed it larger, you could work on 64 stitches, or of course you could work on 72 stitches as well, or any multiple of 4. So now I call what pattern I've worked on, I've changed it even more because I really, like I said, don't like purling as much, but I still want a little bit of ribbing. Now, I don't hate purling, right? But it's a little bit fiddly, right? You got to move that yarn to the front, to the back all the time. I'm a little bit slower at purling. So if I can do less purling in a sock and still get some ribbing, I'm good with that. So I call this particular pattern broken rib. Now, I've seen it called mostly broken rib. I've seen a few people call it garter bump rib, garter stitch rib. I've seen a few people call it mock rib. Knitting's been around for hundreds of years in different countries, and so sometimes the same stitches end up having slightly different names. But basically, you do your ribbing. It's just a 2-row repeat. That's it. So it's a great one for watching TV, just hanging out. It's nice and relaxed. You can memorize it easily. So the first row is just all knit, right? That's it. You just knit and you're thinking, but wait, I thought we were doing ribbing. Well, we are. And that's where second round, you knit 3 and you purl 1. You knit 3, you purl 1. And then the next round is all knit. Now, of course, this is for a sock. So this is we're going to do this tutorial, this stitch pattern in the round. If you have even a little bit of knitting knowledge, you probably know that knitting in the round versus knitting flat are 2 different things, okay? So when you're knitting flat, of course, you're going to need to switch the stitches up. We're not going to include that in the video today. We're just going to knit in the round with this stitch pattern. And I'm going to tell you why I really like this particular ribbing for socks, okay? Because I like my socks to match, right? We need a pair of socks. And if you're just knitting in, for me, I'm visually impaired and I can't see. I don't have enough sight to count my stitches visually, okay? And with a fingering weight yarn and a sock yarn, these stitches, when they're just knit in stockinette, they're really hard for me to feel the individual stitches and count them. And the reality is sometimes I am watching TV, listening to a podcast, reading an audiobook, talking on the phone, whatever ever. And it's pretty easy for me to lose track of my rows. And it's okay if I lose track of a few rows here and there, right? But overall, I kind of want to have an idea of how many rows I've done right on the foot before I start my heel increase. And while I'm working on the cuff, you kind of want to have an idea of your row count. And so, for me, when you do this purl every other round, you create like a little purl bump. If you're sighted, you can see that purl bump. And guess what? If you're visually impaired, you can stretch out your rib right there, your purl rib, and you can actually feel and count those purl bumps. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And by the way, if you are unfamiliar with it, or if you're brand new to my videos, I am visually impaired, so I do use a screen reader on my phone. And that's what you just heard. I usually put an earbud in, but sometimes I forget. And so I do have the volume fairly low. But if you just heard that, that's just a Facebook notification. I forgot to put in my earbuds. So you might hear my screen reader talking in the background. That's how visually impaired people access the internet. Okay. So anyway, sorry to interrupt the video. So that is how I can keep track of how many rounds I've worked. If I put this pattern down, if I'm really sleepy and working on it at night, and I forget how many rounds I've done, and I can't see them to count them very well because the stitches are small and fingering weight, I can just go down this little ridge and I can count each of these purl bumps. So I can make my second sock match, right? So right now we're working on my second sock, right? This is sock week. It's Thursday night of sock week, and I'm on my second sock. We're really happy to say. So I have turned the heel. I just made a video, by the way, on how to turn this heel. No short rows, no pick up and knit, right? I can't see. Picking up and knitting is way too hard when fingering weight yarn for me. So this is the back of my sock, and I'm starting the rib pattern here. And if I'd set this down and lost track of what I was doing, I could easily go and feel these purl bumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 purl bumps, okay, along here. So that tells me, and I do the purl bump every other round. So that means I have 12 rounds that I've started in the ribbing, okay, since the stockinette portion. And I happen to know that on my first sock, I happen to do, let's see, how many? I'm trying to remember. I happen to do 60 rounds of ribbing, okay? I do try to keep track. I do try to count. So I started the ribbing after the heel turn, did a few more rounds in stockinette, and I happen to know that I worked this sock for 60 rounds before I started some knit one, purl one ribbing for the cuff. So that's what I want to do on my second sock to make them match, is do 60 rounds. And so now I know, even if I set it down, I know that I have already done 12 rounds. So I'm going to just demo this for you for just a little bit. I did explain the pattern to you, but I thought I'd demo it for you just a little bit. So this round, this is stitch pattern, is a 2-row repeat, okay? And this is broken rib knit in the round. Remember, not flat. We're not doing that in this video. So basically, round 1, you knit every single stitch. So you take your right hand needle and you go into the stitch on your left hand needle. You go into it front and back. You yarn over the needle. You pull up that new stitch. You get it on your right hand needle and you push off the stitch from the left hand needle. And you just go through and you knit every single stitch all the way around on both needles, okay? Round 1, broken rib, worked in the round, knit every single stitch. On this particular sock, we have 56 stitches. So I am going to go ahead and pause the camera, right? We're going to pause the camera so I can knit all 56 stitches. You don't need to watch that. And then I will get back with you and we will do round 2. Oopsie. Okay, we'll do round 2.
Pause button. Pause.
Okay, I have just completed my entire knit round over 58 stitches on the sock. And now we're going to start round 2 of the pattern. And this is where we do change it up a little bit. I know you're thinking round 1, that's not complicated. You knit every stitch, okay? Round 2, we're going to knit 1, right? We're going to knit the first stitch, knit the second stitch, right needle goes into that stitch, front to back, yarn over, pull up the new stitch on the right hand needle, push the left hand stitch off into the third stitch, right needle goes into the stitch, front to back, yarn over the needle, drop the new stitch, 3 stitches on the right hand needle. And now we move our yarn to the front of our work, and then we go into the stitch in the front and we wrap our yarn and we purl that stitch, okay? So now on our right hand needle, we should have 3 knit stitches and 1 purl stitch, and that's how we create this rib. Then we move our yarn to the back of our work, and then we start again. Put in the right hand needle into that first stitch on the left hand needle, front to back, yarn over, created a new stitch. That's 1. Second stitch, just knit it like normal. That's 2. Third stitch, into the stitch, knit it like normal, off the needle. And now we bring our yarn to the front of our work so that we can purl that stitch. We go into that stitch on the front side, and then we wrap our yarn over and we purl that stitch, and then we can push that last stitch off the left hand needle. So let's take a look again at our right hand needle. We should have another grouping of 4 more stitches. We should have a knit 1, knit 2, knit 3, and then we should have a little purl bump there. So that's what we're doing, is we're creating this little row of purl bumps. Okay, let's do that one more time. Let's move our yarn to the back of our work, and we're going to stick the right hand needle into that first stitch, yarn over, knit 1, do it again, front to back, yarn over, knit 2. We're going to knit the third stitch, stick our right hand needle into that stitch, front to back, yarn over. We've knit 3 stitches. Now we bring our yarn to the front of our work so we can purl a stitch. Now we take the tip of our right hand needle, we stick it into that stitch, we yarn over, and we purl that stitch. Okay, so that is our pattern repeat for round 2. Knit 3, purl 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, pause the camera, and finish this round with you.
Pause button.
Or without you on pause, and then we'll take a look at it.
Pause button. Pause.
Okay. So I have just finished round 2 of my pattern repeat here on the back of my sock. And here it is. You can now see that we have a 7th purl bump. We can count them right from the one up here that's on our needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We now have 7 purl bumps on the back of our sock. And to make it match the other sock, right, the first sock, we can count, I'm not going to count them all with you, but we could count all these purl bumps and we should have 30 purl bumps on the back of this sock. So now we know we got to make 23 more. Okay, I'll do this with you just one more time, but it is really simple. It's a 2-row repeat, okay? And it's great. It's easy. If you lose track of what you're doing, you can still count your purl bumps and make your socks match. Let's do it one more time. Okay. Round 1 of broken rib worked in the round. We knit every single stitch. That's it. Row 1, just knit. Okay? Put the tip of your right hand needle into that stitch, front to back, yarn over, knit the new stitch. That's it. Knit every single stitch. This is great. It's probably my favorite rib to do for socks, but of course you could use this on the body of a top. You could use it on a skirt. You could put it on sleeves. You could even use this on cuffs. I still tend to do knit 1, purl 1 ribbing on a lot of cuffs, or knit 2, purl 2, but you really could replace any of your ribbing with this broken rib pattern. Okay, I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to complete this round of 58 stitches. I'll get back with you and we'll do one more round of round 2.
Pause button. Pause.
Okay, I've just completed round 1, the knit round of the broken rib in the round pattern repeat, and now we're going to do round 2. And of course, in this video, I am assuming that you already know how to knit and purl. Okay, this is not a video on how to knit and purl. So we got our stitches on our left hand needle, needle in the right hand. We're going to take that right hand needle tip. We're going to go into that stitch on the left hand needle, front to back, yarn over, and make that new knit stitch on the right hand needle. That is stitch 1. We're going to do the same thing on stitch 2. We're going to do 2 stitches, and now we're going to knit our 3rd stitch front to back like normal. And then we're going to bring our yarn to the front of our work. And now for the 4th stitch in this pattern, we're going to go into the stitch.
Free up some space. Your phone's almost out of space. Tap to see some quick ways to free up
purl
space
it.
and keep your phone running smoothly.
Okay. Then we're going to bring our yarn to the back of our work. And stick our needle in front to back, yarn over, knit 1, knit 2, knit 3, and then take our yarn to the front of our work.
Yarn Joy Podcast, episode 418. Teddies can be purple, right?
And stick our yarn into our stitch, yarn over, and purl that stitch. Okay? Bring our yarn to the back. Here's what we're looking at again. We are creating this little column of purl bumps. I don't know what's the best way for people to see it. We'll do it one more time. Okay, you knit 1, you knit 2, you knit 3, bring the yarn to the front, stick the needle in, and yarn over, and purl that stitch. Okay, all right, I'm going to put the camera on pause and finish this round, and we'll take a look at it.
Pause button. Pause.
Okay, I've just completed my 2nd round of this 2-round repeat in the broken rib with you all. So now we can feel down this column again, right? We can count the purl bump on our needle. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we should have 8 purl bumps now along this ribbed column. Okay, so that concludes your tutorial on how to knit broken rib in the round, and I'm going to go ahead and continue and try to make these 2 socks match, right? Try to get the same number of purl bumps up the column of both of these socks. I'll put it up here. I don't know if that helps. Try to get it up closer so you people can see. I don't know what colors people can see well on camera or not, but I'm hoping I can get that close enough that for those with sight, I don't know what colors people can see, but I'm hoping you can see that there are purl bumps. Little bumps, little purl bumps going along every other round. We have a purl bump in this column. That's tactile, and I'm sure visually you can see it, so you can keep track of your rounds and make your socks match. Alrighty, my friends, well, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, happy stitching. Bye-bye.
Stop.